About 5, 6 years ago, I was staring at this device. I'd taken a leave of absence from Microsoft for personal reasons, and when I had a very sick parent, and when times get tough for me, I like to get into the zen of the markets and trade. And I was staring at this device and wanted to invest. I'd spent 7 years at Microsoft looking at technology trends, and what I wanted to do was invest not in this device, but in the mobile internet, the concept around this device. And so I called up a bunch of my friends who were hedge fund managers saying, how do I invest in something like the mobile internet? They said, that's easy, just buy Apple. This is 2008, 2009. I said, are you sure that's how to do this? I then called up some of my VC friends and said, how do you invest in the mobile internet? They said, buy Apple. And then, as an ex-BCG consultant, I did a survey. And I got people with different demographics and asked them, how would you invest in the concept of mobile internet? What did they say? Buy Apple. And it didn't include the chip companies, the screen companies, the cell phone tower companies who win, whether Apple or Google wins the handset wars. And when you tried, there were no ETFs or mutual funds that gave you exposure to the mobile internet at the time. And when you tried to put the portfolio together, 30 stocks, as it happened, $10 a trade at an online broker, $300, it just didn't feel well. But the big aha for us at Motif was not how to invest in the mobile internet. It was that people think conceptually about investing. Whether you're a newbie investor or a sophisticated investor, people conceptualize, and they express what they want to invest in. And those expressions can take different forms. It can be a hot trend. I want to invest in drones because I believe one day Amazon will deliver packages via drones. It could be a trading strategy. I want to buy the most beaten down stocks automatically, but I don't have time to watch because I travel a lot and I'm consumed with my startup, but I still want to get that benefit out. Or I could be a more of a long-term investor, and I just want to invest like my old professor, Dave Swenson, who runs Yale's endowment. I just want to be like Dave. What we do at Motif is we take these expressions and we make them actionable by turning them into what we call a motif. And a motif, very simply, is a thematically weighted portfolio of up to 30 stocks built around one of these expressions. And you can purchase a motif in real time, 30 stocks, for the cost of a single stock transaction. There are no management fees. And our customers like to think of these motifs as customizable, no-fee ETFs. And it took our PhDs a year to build 120 of these motifs. And one of the things we got wrong in our business plan is we expected our early adopters to be the millennials. Our early adopters turned out to be over 65 high net worth investors who were very demanding. And they kept calling us saying, you're not moving fast enough, I've got an idea for this, for that. And one of the things we did early on is we turned our publishing platform over to our customers. So it took our guys a year to build 120 of these motifs. It took our customers a year to build 75,000 of these motifs. There are more motifs than there are mutual funds and ETFs combined. And one of the things that really hit us was this notion of how do we get people to work together? How do we think about investing? So when you come to Motif, you don't see stocks, bonds. What you see are interesting concepts. And those concepts can be active, they can be passive, they can be anything that you want. And when you find a motif, let's pick biotech, what we do is we obsess about making things intuitive. When we asked investors, what do you think of when we say the word biotech, people will say, what disease are we trying to cure? And so this motif is literally weighted by therapeutic class. And you can hover over them, do individual stock research, and we try to make investing very accessible. And when you find a motif that you like, you may not like it the way it's in its form, we make it super easy for you to customize. So if you click on the Customize button, you'll see these sliders pop up, and you can move these sliders, change the weighting, add your own set of stocks. Pretty soon, you'll be able to move these sliders into negative territory and go long cancer, short infectious diseases just by moving these sliders around. And the idea is to make it very, very intuitive. We are a social platform. We capture data. Much like Google studies search, we study fund flows, we study search on our platform. So we can tell you for any one of these 75,000 motifs what sentiment is, whether people bought it as is or customized it, No surprise, and we'll be releasing this later on. When you study people who are customizing our biotech motif, they tend to be doctors. They tend to be professionals with deep expertise. Think of this as almost your own personal expert network system. I don't know if we're allowed to say that anymore. And you can see that there are 5,000 people here watching or own this motif. The people below that are friends of mine off Facebook and Twitter. And so I can very quickly see who else I know that's actually invested in this motif. So if I see my sister-in-law in a motif that she shouldn't be in, I can tell her to get out. Because if she loses money, I'm in big trouble. And when you look at the quality of product, you know, the biotech motif we built, when you look at the motifs that our customers beat, these are their actual returns, right? And no surprise, our big motif builders, a lot of them are hedge fund managers, moonlighting. One of the things we did manage to get the regulators to let us do is if you go on tonight, build your own motif, publish it onto social media, anytime anyone buys your motif, you collect a royalty payment. So this is almost a new way for you to distribute your product and get compensated. Now, one of the problems we have, and this is a problem I've had in general with wealth management, is there's 75,000 motifs out there, and a lot of it's very impersonal. The original name of our company was Fund DNA. And the idea was for everyone there is a unique fund, as unique as your DNA. The problem is the regulators wanted to regulate it as a fund, so we changed the name of our company. That was a lot easier to do. But when you take someone like my wife and I, we love each other dearly. We're roughly the same age. Don't tell her I said that. But if you were to go in and assess our risk, our investing horizon, and go to any type of product company that builds portfolios, they will essentially give us the same product. They'll do your asset allocation model. It is what it is, and they'll give you a bunch of funds. And my wife and I couldn't be further from being different when it comes to social, political, even investing personas. And what we do when we ask people what they want to invest in, we make it personal. So we ask you your risk tolerance, but we also ask you your set of values. My wife leans very left. So if you were building a portfolio for her and you put shale oil in, she would be very, very upset. For me, I grew up in Kuwait, love oil, think it's actually a source of our national security problems, and I want to invest in shale. So we can actually have the same asset allocation model, but build it up of different building blocks. And what you see here is what we call investing DNA. It's our first rev at trying to take these 75,000 motifs. One of our biggest problems is now helping our customers figure out which motifs are right for them. And this is something we're launching later on this week. So if you come by, we'll do a demo and show you how it works. But essentially, you can go in, find an asset allocation model. We have, by the way, a product called Horizon. And it's actually funny. No one believes me, and it's actually a bad sign for our industry. It is an asset allocation model that you can go in and put money to work, and it's completely free. It has no BIPs. No commission charges, no rebalancing charges. It has its own glide. And I was talking to a reporter. I spent 2 hours trying to convince them it was actually free. And she kept saying, what's the catch? We know your financial types. There's always a catch. And we're like, no, seriously, it is absolutely free. And so we might end up charging because nobody believes us when we say it's free. And so you see Horizon models. You'll see a bunch of things like that. And one of the things we do is I have in my Roth IRA 20 motifs. You can actually drill down to the fractional share in penny. What do you actually own? One of the big problems my wife has with green investing, right? She's a big in green, is a fund will never actually tell you what they own at any one point. And if you don't trust the manager, what are you to do? So with our models, you can see I have 20 motifs, thousands of stocks that I actually own versus a fund product. And I can screen different analyses, look at how I'm invested in. But the power of Motif, if you look at this is literally my Roth IRA, you can see I have a motif called rising interest rates, right? I have an algorithmic model called buy the dip that scans for stocks that are beaten down and automatically picks them up. I have a QE Japan strategy, a motif that's short the yen, long interest rate sensitive stocks. But I also have asset allocation models, and pretty much you can do anything you want on our platform. We started as a retail online broker, and then about a year ago, we noticed financial advisors using our product. literally to manage books of business. And when we asked them why are they using a retail product to manage their book of business, they said, great, it's cheap, it's super easy to use. And so we went out, and about 6 months ago, we launched a financial advisor product. And essentially what our advisor product does, it takes the spirit of Motif, but it's all about doing what existing systems do, but making it a lot easier. So our advisor product does 3 things. It allows you to build an asset model, either using one of your own or one of the 75,000, and we're going to launch a special site just for advisory models. And in one click, I can assign it to 1 customer or 1,000 customers. And you can see here, you can manage this book of business using our platform here. But one of the killer apps for us is I can have 20, 30, 40 different models. I could be talking to you right now, click on my iPhone, automatically rebalance them, and roll those changes out to everyone. And we all do all of this for a flat fee. And then the third part of our business is really, of our advisor platform, is really helping people manage workflow. How do I onboard clients digitally? How do I go in there? And so we've taken what worked really well for us on Motif, the retail product, and now have applied it to financial services. An interesting story. One of the most remarkable things about our product is we have newbie investors, we have ultra high net worth investors, we have day traders all on our platform. And about 4 or 5 months ago, we launched a competition for some of the Ivy schools to go build a Motif, and one of those investment competitions. And we had a lot of the schools participate, and we would pay a prize to the winning school. I get a call out of nowhere from an AP reporter who says, "Can you look up these 2 Motifs for me?" And I said, "Sure." We looked them up. I said, "Wow, they're doing really good." He said, "How are they doing versus your college MBA kids?" I said, they're beating them by 5 to 6 points consistently." He said, "Well, I need you to come to Fargo and come meet these 11-year-olds. They decided to join your investing competition, and boy, do they make your alma maters, Yale and Wharton, look bad." And so I went out to Fargo and met these group of 11-year-olds who you asked them, "What did you just do? How did you go in and build this?" And they were pretty humble. They kind of called it luck. But when you drill down to why did you put Facebook in there? How many of you use Facebook? Actually, none of them did. They all used Instagram. They said, "Well, we think Mr. Zuckerberg's a smart person, and he'll figure out how to make money off mobile devices." I said, "Kids, you know most adults don't understand what you're saying?" I asked them why they put Under Armour in. They said, "Well, Christmas is coming. They're sponsoring the Olympics. And take a look, Mr. Wally." I love the fact that they're Mr. Wally. They're so polite out there. Take a look around. A year ago, everyone was wearing Nike gear. Everyone's wearing Under Armour. And we did the analysis. The stock's cheap. The power of what we do is we make investing accessible, because whether you are a sophisticated investor or a newbie investor, all of us want ease. And that's what we do. Simple, yet powerful. And you're going to see us launch a whole new wave of products over the next few months, and it's all with the spirit of making it simple yet powerful.